The barrel will actually take a second coat of the stain. You can see that I've stained it all the way through to here, and I haven't done this yet. And the process for putting on beer labels, I try to keep them on the can, and I store them that way until I need them, so that when they peel off, they still have their adhesive on them. And then you just cut along, take your blade, and just cut along the bands. Now we're going to move to doing the epoxy on the top. And this is the product I recommend. I'll be telling you the name a little bit better next time. But anyways, it's a 1-to-1 ratio that you make up of the product. And when you mix the two, you're going to end up with 2 layers that don't mix real well. You take it in a plastic cup and you stir. You can see the emulsion forming. You're going to need to stir some of them for 3 minutes, this product for 3 minutes, but I'm using the dregs of another product that I don't like, and that one I'm going to have to stir for 4 or 5 minutes. And you want to stir it slowly so that you're not introducing air bubbles into the mixture. So I've now stirred this for over 3 minutes. I don't know if you can see, I have minimal air bubbles, but some air bubbles. I can still see some unmixing in this, and that's just the nature of this product. I don't think that all epoxy resin products are created equal. That's why I prefer to use the one that I showed you. I'm making sure that my barrel is level, and the reason I'm going to paint it on is to get a bit of a layer forming that I'm going to pour the rest on top of, and this way help me to avoid air bubbles. I'm going to work this right into the grain, and with my brush and just this pushing motion, force any air out of the grain to just escape through a very, very, very thin layer. Okay, I've let this sit a while now, no air bubbles, and now I'm just going to pour on my liquid. My first layer I don't want too thick, so I'm just going to spread some around, and then I'm going to take the barrel and just move it. Spread the liquid around. So I'm going to do that and just spread the liquid around and form an even surface. I even used my paintbrush to help spread it out. And now to make sure that I've got my edges okay, I'm just going to use the last few remaining drops on the edges. I don't need to fill in the side, the crack, so I'm going to take a look for air bubbles. And because I did only a small layer, and because I started by forcing any air bubbles out of the grain and to the top of my thin painted on layer, everything looks really, really good. I'm going to leave it now for a couple of hours, but because this is a garage and my daughter will come back with her car and blow up some dust, I'm just going to cover this to make sure no dust gets trapped in my surface. So I told you this is going to become unworkable and you won't be getting any air bubbles out of it after about, I would say, don't give it more than 15 minutes, which is why you want to go back after 5 minutes, lift up the top, eyeball underneath with your flashlight. If you see any air bubbles, get your torch out, and the process is to light your torch and just aim the torch above the surface so that the heat is touching the surface but the flame isn't, and not too close. Give it 3 inches above the surface, and you'll see if you aim it at a bubble, that bubble will grow in size, come to the top, and pop. But I just took a look at mine, and it's bubble free. This is only my first pour.